That's not chicken.
Oh. Hi, everybody.
Biscuit.
Okay, let's see. Sorry I'm late. I was out with my son and daughter and then Roman, and then I had to come home and spin and then take my vitamins, all that fun stuff. All right, so today I had such high hopes of this trial because it started off with a literal bang. Having Letecia's brother take the stand. How many people saw that? I have to put something on Bim Bunny my lips. Not good. Not good. Not good to bite your lips. Letecia's gnawing off her fingernail. I think she's gnawed off her fingers at this point. She's gnawed off, like, the fingernails have to be gone. She's probably started on the skin. I don't know what. And you know what I've thought about Letecia? You know, her brother had the freak out. This is the weirdest trial I have ever seen. Okay, well, no, scratch it. Daryl Brooks, right? Or that was bizarre. Remember holding up the signs and stuff? Okay, this is one of the weirdest trials that I have seen, and that would be because today when her brother freaked on the stand, I just thought, like, here's what I'm thinking. Like, let's say you're Letecia, right? And you did this, and you know it's going down for you. You're not coming back from this. Because even if you get not guilty by reason of insanity, you're going away to the nut house for the rest of your life, okay? So, no matter which way, you're going away for life. Why not prolong it? Especially when the judge says maybe this is going to be sooner than, you know, you guys are ahead of time. We don't know. She might be thinking, like, this is the only time I'm going to get out. Get around people, be able to do stuff. Like, why doesn't she flip out? Like, I heard Lori Vallow excused herself from court today. So why wouldn't she just do, like, crazy things? Like, just stand up and start screaming, right? You know, if she's really acting insane, just, like, start screaming things that are not even, like, real words. And then they'll have to stop, get it right? I don't know. What has she got to lose? Not too much. So, I don't know. I'm surprised. Anyway, I don't know where the live stream is, and that's what I'm trying to find. But her brother started off, he got on, and he was, like, really nervous. And he started to break down, and they're like, are you going to be all right? Are you going to be all right? And he's like, Look at this. This brand new live, they already put a yellow sign on it. So, let me get over here. And he was breaking down, and then he's like, he either said, why? Letecia, or Letecia, why? I forget which order he had. But exactly, this is her last chance to be in the free world, but if she takes it too far, they put her in a separate room via monitor. Yeah, like Daryl Brooks, right? Robin Nelson, hi. Do I think she'll take the stand? I don't think so. If she starts screaming tomorrow, we know there's an insider watching. Yeah, sarcastic one, right? But the other thing I found really odd today. Okay, so let's go back to the brother. Did everyone here put a 1 if everyone saw the brother's testimony? Put a yes. Put a yes if you saw the brother's testimony, and a no if you didn't.
Honey.
No thanks, not now.
Oh, really good. Look like these.
1, okay. Yes, everybody here, good. Okay. Yes. Nicole missed it. Sarcastic one missed it. Flyer B, you missed it. I've seen you in a long time, Flyer B. You missed some of the brother? Does anybody? Oh, shoot.
No,
What? You missed it too?
yeah, because the boyfriend was here.
Oh, the boyfriend. Does anybody mind if we just play the brother's testimony? It's not that long. I think. Does anybody mind that if we would replay that? Put a don't mind or I do mind.
I mind. Does my vote count? I'm going to bed, but still I mind. I'm joking.
Yeah, I got a late start and they took it down. Who took it down? Who took it down, sarcastic one? We had it up. You're in the wrong place. You should be here with us. Who took it down?
How did they do that?
Sarcastic mind, I have it up. How do you think I'm going to replay it? Hi, Marilee. Hi, Marianne. Okay, I'll play it. Oh, you shouldn't be over there, sarcastic one. How dare they? I have it up. You should be here with us. We stream the trial all day. We don't take any of it down. We don't do that at all, any of that funny business. And we have a nice chat that's not full of trolls. You should go take the video, bookmark, and get over here instead of over there. Yeah, you want to stay here. They took it down. Bad. Yeah, we're here we're here at 10:45 Eastern Time, sarcastic one, and we stream it all day long. Okay, let me get the replay. Letecia Stauch, day 6. Okay. Hello. Okay, I'm just going to, I just have to share the screen out places, so I will be.
All right, Mr. Lowry, if you would step forward and raise your right hand, please, sir. A little farther forward.
Just go right in the middle of the court.
All right. You swear affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your step as you step into the stand.
Good morning. Could you introduce yourself to the jury and spell your first and last name?
Dakota Lowry, DAKOTALOWRY,
And where do you live, Dakota?
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Did you just fly in yesterday?
Yes, sir.
And what is your relationship with Letecia Stauch?
That's my sister.
Pretty tough for you being here right now?
Yes, sir.
Hang in there, all right?
Why, teacher?
Mr. Lowry, do you need a moment?
Take a break for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have you step back in that back of the jury room for a few minutes. All up for the jury, please. Thank you. May all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Mr. Lowry, you going to be okay? Need a few minutes?
Yes, I just want to get this over with.
Here's the way that the process works, is that, I understand that you want to get it done. I understand that. But, we have to have the jury in here, and you're going to be subject to questioning by the prosecution and then by, your sister's attorneys. Do you understand all that? Okay. Just do the best that you can. Just take a breath. Do you need some water or anything like that?
I'm good.
There's some water right there if you want some, or you can pour it into that cup there. So everybody's a little nervous when they're on a witness stand. Just take a deep breath.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens. It's an emotional case. I get that. But you just have to do the best that you can to get through the testimony, okay?
And with the court's permission, can I just ask some follow-up questions? Mr. Lowry, I know this is very difficult for you, okay? But I really want you to focus on me, and I know your wife's here as well. And I'm just going to ask you some questions and we'll get through this, okay? But it's important that you got to kind of keep your cool.
Okay.
All right? Can you do that?
I'm gonna try my best. I can't make no promises, but I try my best.
And I appreciate that. I know it's difficult for you here, but we'll get through this, okay? And if you need a break, just let us know. If you feel something coming up or you want to have an outburst, do the best you can and let us know, and perhaps the court, we can take another break, okay? Is that fair?
Okay. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and bring the jury back in. We have the other camera. All rise for the jury, please. All right, thank you. You may all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Mr. Young?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Lowry, this is your first time being in a courtroom ever, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you're probably extremely nervous.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna get through this, okay? I'm just gonna ask you some questions and we're gonna have a conversation. Is that all right with you?
Yes, sir.
Did you let the jury know about your other family members, other brothers and sisters, your parents, that kind of thing?
I got another sister. Her name's Julie. I got a sister named Amy. My mom, Deborah. I mean, that's pretty much.
And then
I
it
got my nieces, all my nieces.
what's your niece's name? Do you remember?
Got Harley, Jazz, Kanae, Cash, Maya, Jada.
And is Deborah your mother?
That's my mom. Yeah.
And for the most part, did your family grow up in North Carolina, where you're from, Lumberton, and
Yes, sir.
most of them still living out there?
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned that Letecia Stauch is your sister,
Yes, sir.
and you see her in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Could you point her out and describe what she's wearing?
A green sweater.
And when was the last time you saw her?
When we came down here in 2020.
So January 2020?
Yes, sir.
And so I want to talk about that a little bit. When you said you came out here, who came out here?
Me, my mom, and my Aunt Brenda.
And what's Brenda's last name?
Ackward,
What's your mom's last name?
Locklear.
Why'd you come out here?
We come out here to help support Tisha because we felt like she was being wrongly accused for something that we believe she would never do.
And so I'm sorry, go
We-
ahead.
We also wanted to come out here and help look for him. We did.
Go ahead and take a deep breath, all right? You let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
So you wanted to come out and help. You refer to her as Tisha,
Mhm.
and you also wanted to look for Gannon.
Yes, sir.
So do you remember when you came out?
Uh, January 31st, I think. 30th. It was late January. It was about to be February because my mom's birthday was that weekend or something, that next week.
And why particularly did you come out?
Because I knew my mom was going to come out here.
Did you wanted to support your mom?
Yes, sir.
Now, was it January 30th of 2020 when you all flew out here?
I believe so.
Where did you fly to? Do you remember?
Denver.
You got to Denver, what did you do?
Went looking for her and Harley.
Rent a car?
Yeah, we rented a car from the airport.
Did your aunt Brenda Awkward rent the car?
Yes, sir.
And did she pay for y'all to come out here?
Yes, sir.
And
Mr. Lowry, you're kind of soft-spoken at times. Could you put the microphone a little bit closer to you so the jurors can hear you a little better? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
so when you get to Denver, your aunt rents a car. What was the game plan? What were you gonna do?
To get Tisha and Harley, at least two around us.
And did they know you all were coming out?
Yeah.
And so, do you recall renting a Nissan Altima?
I think so.
You drive down to Colorado Springs, I assume?
Yeah.
Who was driving? Do you remember? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Aunt Brenda.
And so what happens when you get to Colorado Springs? Where do you go?
Like a shopping center. Cause that's where we found them at.
Were you guys talking to him on your way down?
Yeah, when we was looking for them.
And so would this be a shopping center kind of on the north side of town next to a Marshall's department store?
Yeah, there was a Marshalls there.
And did they tell you why they were, or let me ask you this, did the defendant, Tisha, tell you why they were at the Marshall store?
She didn't tell us why. Not that I can remember.
Did she tell you whether or not she had an interaction with some
Yes.
police officers?
Yes, sir.
And you have to kind of wait till I finish asking the
Oh,
question
sorry.
because
Yeah.
she's typing everything down we say, okay? So what did she tell you happened prior to you getting there?
That the laws had thrown her down and detained her.
Say anything about Harley?
Yes, Harley. They said also Harley.
That upset you?
Yes, it did.
So where did you go after you went to this Marshall's parking lot area to pick them up?
We went and got a hotel.
And do you remember the name of the hotel?
Uh, no.
Does the extended suites sound familiar?
Yeah, standing suites.
So what happened when you got to the extended suites?
That was when they was discussing wanting to get their stuff back, like get their belongings.
And who was discussing that?
Tisha.
Once you picked up the defendant and her daughter Harley, who was kind of calling the shots as to what you were going to do and where you're going to go and things like that?
I don't really know.
Well, was
I
it,
was, I'm type, like I said, I'm the type of person that likes just stand in the corner and wait until they just tell me what they want to do.
you're just there to help?
I'm just there.
So how many rooms did you end up getting at the extended suites?
I can't remember.
Did you
It was-
spend the night there that night?
Yeah,
Do you remember who was in your room?
I know my mom was, I believe Aunt Brenda was with us. I can't remember if we had just one room or two rooms.
Okay. Well, was Harley and your sister, the defendant, in the room with you?
We was around each other most of the time, like all of us was together most of the time.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that the defendant was talking about wanting to get her stuff back. What did you do the next morning to do that?
We rented a van,
And who rented the van?
Aunt Brenda.
So Brenda Awkward rents, what kind of van did she rent?
Like a cargo van, I guess you would say.
And so did all of you go to rent the van?
I don't know if all of us went or not. I believe we did.
So it's you, your mother, Deborah, Brenda Awkward, Harley, and the defendant, Tisha. Where do you go?
I know at one point she tried to go to the police station and get her pocketbook and stuff like that.
Tell the jury about that. Where exactly did she go? And you probably don't know Colorado Springs very well, right?
Mm.
So did she tell you she's going to the police department, and did you actually go to the police
Yeah,
department?
we went to the police department.
And did she go in to try to get her belongings back that was taken?
Yeah,
in
she
evidence?
did.
You know whether or not she got those items?
I can't remember.
So where do you go from the police department?
I think that's when we went to their house to get their clothes and stuff.
So this would have been January 31st now, 2020,
I believe so.
the next morning.
That Friday.
So what happens when you get to her house?
We just started loading up the clothes and stuff that's coming out of the house.
Were there police officers there?
Yes, sir.
What were the police officers doing?
They was checking everything we brought out,
How were they checking it?
like looking in the bags and I guess just making sure there wasn't nothing that they weren't supposed to be there.
And how did you feel about being at the residence that morning?
Just aggravated.
And why were you aggravated?
Because I felt like we was getting looked at as criminals.
Is that because they were looking at your sister as a criminal?
You know, they was looking at our whole family. It wasn't just her.
And so what kind of things did you guys get out of the house? Do you remember?
Suitcases and clothes, just all I can remember.
Was it all the Harley's clothes and all of your sister's clothes?
Yes, sir.
What was the game plan? I mean, where were you going to
They
put
got-
these clothes?
They got their dogs too.
What was the plan on where you were going to go with all the clothes and things? You know?
But I know when she got it, she was ready to leave. She was ready to leave.
And did she tell you where she was ready to leave to?
I thought it was South Carolina.
And is that where she moved out to Colorado from, is South Carolina?
I don't think that's where she moved out of Colorado from.
Well, did she live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for a while?
Yes, sir.
Is that where she was planning on going back to? Is
That's what I thought.
that what she told you?
That's what I can remember.
So how long did it take to load up all her and Harley's things into this cargo van?
Um, I can't remember, over an hour, I guess.
So what happens after you get the van loaded?
We leave and go back to the room, I believe.
Do you remember whether or not your sister had an interview with a news reporter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she did.
Tell the jury about that. How'd that come about?
I don't know how that happened. I just know she just had an interview with him.
And did she tell you why? I mean, was anybody talking to her
No.
about doing this? Or
I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't.
whose idea was it to have a interview with a news reporter?
I don't know.
Foundation.
Sustained. Jury will disregard the answer.
So when you went to the house, I'm assuming you went in the cargo van. Did you also take the Nissan Altima that was,
Yeah, the Nissan was with us.
who was driving which vehicle?
I think I was driving the van, and I think Brenda was on the Nissan.
And what vehicle was your sister the defendant in?
Say that again.
What vehicle was your sister in, the defendant? Do you remember?
No. I don't remember.
You know, we'll go on to that. So she does an interview with a news reporter. What do you do after that?
I just know we left. I don't remember where we went.
Did you eventually go back to the
We went
hotel?
back, yeah.
Do you remember about what time of day it was?
No.
Go back to the hotel room, and what do you do when you get back to the hotel room?
I know we mentioned something about wanting to go look for him. Because me and my mama, we wanted to go help look for him.
Tell us about that conversation.
Well, we wanted to go. She said she would get up with Albert, find out like when they're going to go out and look for him again or whatever. But we wanted to go, but at the same time, we kind of didn't because we didn't feel like we was getting treated right down here.
Is that because of what happened at the house earlier?
Yeah.
When you first got to Colorado, did you have conversations with your sister about, hey, we got to go out and look for Gannon. We got to go search for him?
We asked if they had any idea where he was at and stuff. I mean, that's about all we asked her.
And did you all ever go search for Gannon?
No, we didn't.
Did she ever say, hey, we got to go look for Gannon?
I mean, she told us that we could. That's all she told us. Like she said, we'd get up with Al and talk to him about it.
She never did.
Mm.
When you get back to the hotel room back on January 31st of 2020, did the defendant leave you all and go somewhere by herself?
Yes.
Overruled.
Did she tell you where she was going?
Go get some dog food for their dogs.
Do you know what vehicle she took?
The Nissan.
The Altima?
Yes, sir.
And how long was she gone?
Oh, wow.
Hour?
I can't remember that. I just know she was gone longer than what I expected.
Was it 2 hours?
I don't know.
You remember sitting around the hotel room wondering where she's at and when she's getting back, that kind of thing?
Well, I did get on the phone with my wife, and I did tell my wife I feel like she's just been gone too long. But
Say that.
because she was gone for a long time, like I can't remember how long she was gone, but I didn't expect her to take that long. But then a part of me was like, well, maybe she's just trying to take her a minute by herself. So
Did anyone try to call her and say, hey, where are you? What's going on here?
no, not that I can remember.
Does she eventually come back?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What happens when she gets back?
I don't know. She came back and she was normal to me.
Did she have any dog food or any items for the dogs?
She had some. She came back with some stuff, like she bought something, but I can't remember.
So earlier you had mentioned that she wanted to go back to South Carolina. What was the plan with the cargo van? Was she going to take the cargo van that Brenda Awkward rented to go back to South Carolina?
I don't know if she was going to take that one because Aunt Brenda wouldn't. I doubt Aunt Brenda was going to let her. I believe Aunt Brenda told her she had to get another van.
And so the next morning, we're now on February 1st, 2020. Did you help her get a new van?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury about that. What did you and your sister do to get a new van?
We went and drove to the budget place. We got another van. And we got the van. We unloaded all the stuff from out of the van into the other van.
So was that in the early morning hours?
I believe so.
Do you know about what time it was? Is that the first thing you did on February 1st?
I can't remember.
So when you get to the budget area, did you know that you were going to transfer things from one van to another when you got there?
Yeah.
So did you talk about that on the way to the budget rental van?
Yeah.
So talk to the jury about that. How did you guys go about doing that, moving the items from one van to another?
We just went around to the side of the budget place, and we just backed the vans up and just swapped them out.
During that process, did you see the defendant with a rather large suitcase?
Yes, sir. I seen her with a lot of suitcases. Well, there was a lot of suitcases on there.
Was there one that kind of stood out to you?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury about that. Why did it stand out to you?
Because it looked like she was struggling with it.
Did you offer to help her?
Yep.
What'd she say?
She didn't need help.
Did you ask her what's in the suitcase?
Yep.
What'd she say?
She told me it was softball stuff.
Why'd you ask her what's in the suitcase?
I didn't feel right about it.
What about that suitcase didn't make you feel right?
I just felt like it was too heavy for her.
You know, at this time, I'd like to publish People's Exhibit 48. It's already been admitted into evidence.
Go ahead.
You recognize that suitcase we see on the TV screen?
Yep.
How do you recognize that suitcase?
Look, it's an old suitcase. I remember that suitcase looked old, and it's green.
Is that the suitcase you saw your sister putting into the budget van?
Yep.
Is that the suitcase you asked her about what's in it?
Yep.
Is that the suitcase you didn't feel right about?
Yep.
Is that the suitcase she told you softball equipment was in?
Yep.
Thank you. Take that down. So what happens after you get everything loaded into the budget van from your aunt's rental van?
At that point, we was ready to go home.
And did you drive Brenda Awkward's van back? And did Miss Stauch, your sister, drive the budget van?
I can't remember if we turned that van in there at that place or if we had to turn it in somewhere else. But I mean, I had to drive one of them because it was just me and her.
So do you eventually turn back It's an enterprise van, right? Is that where you rented the van that Brenda Awkward
I
rented?
think, yeah.
Did you take that van back?
Yeah, we took it back. I think we took it back later on that day.
And did you take the Nissan Altima back to Denver to catch your flight?
Yep.
What did the defendant tell you where she was going to go?
The only thing I can remember, I don't remember. The only thing I can remember is her saying something about going back to Myrtle Beach.
And did she leave with Harley?
Yeah, her and Harley lived.
Did they leave from the hotel?
I can't remember where we split up at. I can't remember where we.
Or did your sister have to go back to the hotel to pick up Harley?
Yep. I think so.
And is that the last time you saw your sister until today?
Yep.
How much older is your sister than you?
14 years.
You known her your whole life?
Yeah.
Can you give the jury an idea about the family background? How often would you see her as you're growing up, that kind of
She
thing?
come to like holidays, came around on holidays.
Where would you guys meet? In North Carolina?
She'd either come down here or go down there, or we might have went to the beach and seen her.
Had you gone to Myrtle Beach on a few occasions to
Yeah,
hang out with Harley?
yeah, me and her. I used to go down there and stay with them. We'd go to the water park, stuff like that on the weekends.
Can you let the jury know who your father is?
James Lowry.
And would that have been your sister's stepfather?
Yes, sir.
Is your dad still alive?
Yes, sir.
You know when he died?
7th birthday, 2004.
Do you know the circumstances on how he died?
Got hit by a car.
Was he walking out in the street? And
I don't know if he was. I don't think he was on the street. I think he was on the side of the road.
do you know anything about the relationship between your father and your sister, Letecia Stauch?
No, sir.
Had your sister ever told you anything unusual between their relationship between your father and her?
No, sir.
If there had been something unusual, do you think you would have heard about it?
Objection, foundation.
Overruled?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Cause I mean, pretty sure my mom would have said something.
And your mother, Deborah, was she, well, what kind of mom was she?
She was a great mom to me.
What do you say to me?
I'm just saying that I had no problem with my mama.
Was she very
I
protective?
think none of us should have a problem with my mama.
Was she very protective of the kids,
Yes, sir.
including Miss Stauch?
Yes, sir.
On these occasions that you spent with your sister, did you have an opportunity to see her interact with other people and make decisions and go through everyday life?
Yeah.
Had you ever known her to have a serious mental illness?
I know. I mean, the only thing we always said she probably had was that she was OCD. That was it.
Is that obsessive compulsive disorder?
Well, we used it as excessive cleaning disorder. Like she had to keep stuff clean.
To the reference of testify as to what he saw and observed, but I'm objecting to him testifying regarding.
That's fair. Mr. Lowry, just talk about what you think as opposed to what all of you thought. So if you think it, it's fine. And just say, this is what I thought based on your contacts with her. Okay? Mr. Young?
You understand that? I mean, you good with that?
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Okay. So You mentioned that she had OCD. Why do you say that?
She liked to keep stuff in a particular spot. She liked to keep everything clean.
But when you're around her, would you make sure that things remain clean? Because she may want to,
Yep,
she might say something to you.
yep.
Was she the same with Harley?
She was the same with everybody like that, as far as I know.
Anything unusual about that?
No, that's normal to me.
You know other people like that?
No,
Had you ever known her to use different names or identify herself by a different name?
I can't remember.
Do you ever remember her referring to herself as a person named Harmony?
I do know she didn't like her name, but I don't remember her calling herself Harmony.
Did she tell you why she didn't like her name?
No,
Do you ever remember her calling herself Jasmine?
no.
And you said you had a niece named Jasmine or Jazz?
Jaslyn,
Sorry.
Jaslyn.
And are you familiar whether or not your sister liked Disney movies?
I believe she did.
And are you familiar with the movie Aladdin?
Yeah,
You familiar with a character named Jasmine in that movie?
yes, sir.
Who's Jasmine in that movie?
The princess.
Do you ever remember her talking in a Spanish accent?
No,
You ever seen her in a stressful situation?
no.
How about when you came to Colorado?
Yeah.
During the entire time you're in Colorado with her, had you ever seen her speak in a Spanish accent?
No,
Have you ever heard her refer to herself as Maria?
no,
Does Maria mean anything to you? That name?
no.
You have an opinion as to whether or not your sister has the capacity to know right from wrong.
Thought she did.
Why do you say that?
She's too smart.
Was your sister a really good athlete as well?
Yes, sir.
What kind of sports did she play?
Softball, basketball, baseball.
Was she more of a leader than a follower?
That's what I thought.
Never see her drive a vehicle, for instance.
Yes, sir.
Did she have the ability to stop at red lights, go when it turns green, that kind of thing?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen her, have you witnessed her obey the law?
Yes, sir.
And is that throughout your entire life?
Yep.
And is that for even when you were in Colorado?
I mean, we didn't ride with her. She didn't really drive around with us, but I mean, she acted funny the whole time we was down here, to be honest.
Tell us about that. Why was she acting funny?
Seemed like she was stressed out about everything that was going on, looking over her shoulders. But I figured that was because of the laws was constantly coming after her.
You alluded to this earlier, but she had just been in handcuffs prior to you guys picking her up, right?
Yep.
And do you think that may have caused her to be a little bit paranoid about the police following her and things
Yep.
like that? What about her capacity to do things intentionally, perform intentional acts? Let's talk about the budget rental van. Did you see anything unusual about her ability to rent another van to go to South Carolina?
No.
Does she have the capacity to intend to do things?
Yeah.
Does she have the capacity to make decisions and use judgment and reflection in making those decisions?
Yeah.
What did you think when you heard that she pled not guilty by reason of insanity?
I believe that was the only way she did it at that time.
Did what?
What we're here for.
A moment, Your Honor.
You may.
Those are my questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Polina?
Mr. Lowry,
Or
I know this is going to be, I know this is difficult. And we've met before, correct?
Yep.
Remember I came and I saw you and your mom and everything out in North Carolina. I want to go back just to the attorney's last question. You indicated she must have been when she did this. And what you're meaning is the Letecia that you know, the only way she could have done something so horrible if she has some type of mental break.
when everything first happened, and we found out that the little boy was found in the body, we found out where he was found. At that point, I knew she did it because when I seen that suitcase and asked her about it, she just acted funny to me. And yeah, I thought she might have snapped and went crazy.
Okay.
But now, no. No.
Okay. And talk Lumberton, you're from Lumberton, North Carolina, correct?
Yep.
And that's kind of a small, how big of Lumberton?
It's not that big.
A pretty small community.
Yeah.
And this case has got a national exposure.
Yep.
And it's got even more kind of exposure, in Lumberton. Lumberton
Yep.
press is, picked up and followed this case pretty closely.
Yep.
And over the 3 years since this has happened, this has caused a lot of shame to come upon you and your family.
Yep.
It makes you feel like your own town, kind of like an outcast,
Yep.
like everybody's looking and judging you,
Yep.
like everybody's looking and judging your mom.
Yep.
And this is all your stepsister's fault.
She's not my stepsister.
You
But,
you have different fathers, correct?
I mean, I don't consider that a stepsister. That's half.
Okay. This is all your half sister's fault.
Yes.
And you're angry at her for it.
Yep.
When you were out in Colorado during this time, she was acting different than normal.
Yes, she was.
She was pacing up and down. She seemed highly paranoid.
Yep.
Your mother was concerned for her mental health.
Yep.
Did your mom, Brenda, and you all fly back together?
Yeah, me, my mom, and Aunt Brenda.
Okay. You flew out of DIA?
Yeah.
Did you call her during that time in Colorado that you were with her being paranoid and believing there's a black BMW that was following her?
Yeah, she did do that.
Go back. You're actually named after your father? Middle name?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And my grandpa.
Okay. And Ms. Stauch was 16 when she moved out, correct?
I believe.
Okay. So she's 14 years older than you. That would mean you're only 2 years old when she moved out of the house.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So you never had any active memories of her with James or how James treated her.
No, sir.
And you said that she would come home from time to time, but she never came back to North Carolina, never came back to Lumberton to see you guys until after James died.
Not that I can't remember.
Okay. You indicated, let's go. I mean, I'm going to get into this, and I know you might not like it, but your dad, James Lowry, did have a drinking problem.
Yes, he did, as far as I know.
He would get drunk and he'd beat the piss out of your mom.
Yes, as far as I know, yep.
Sometimes it'd be so bad that your mom would have to take all you kids to a hotel room till he sobered up.
Yep.
Sometimes your mom would have to go to work and James be the one watching after you kids. Correct?
Yep.
One time, James gave you so much alcohol that you passed out. Well, they went up the,
Overruled.
one time James gave you so much alcohol that you passed out.
Yep.
And you were under, so if you passed when you were 7, you would have had to been, what, 4, 5, or 6?
When you asked
You
that,
passed out. Remember how old you were?
I was like 3.
Okay. You indicated that, or I think you said before, that she would sometimes freak out if something was out of place.
Yep.
Stauch. And also, do you recall that sometimes when Miss Stauch would come visit you or see you, sometimes she would leave you knives so you'd be able to protect yourself?
Yep, she did do that.
No further questions.
Great.
Yes, Sheriff, thanks. Tell us a little bit more about your dad. Was he in the armed forces?
Yep.
What branch?
Air Force.
And did he go to war?
I believe he did.
And did that create problems for him?
Yep.
Tell the jury about that. What changed with your dad when he got back from war?
All I know is my mom always told me when he stepped off that plane,
Hold on, just a moment. Yeah, sustained. You can talk about what you observed. You can't talk about what somebody else told you. Okay?
I mean, I can't really talk about him because I was 3 when they separated. I was 7 when he died.
That's all right.
Okay. That's okay. It's all right.
Now, earlier we talked about your mom being protective of the kids. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
If something was going on with your dad and the kids, what would your mom do?
She don't play about her kids. Something went on between, I don't know how she did Daddy, but I know if something went on between her and like her ex-boyfriends or whatever, and they wanted to come to us or say something to us, she didn't play about us. She protected us.
She protected you kids? Did she protect herself?
Yep.
Did you ever see her hit your dad?
I don't remember I can't remember much of my daddy because I was so young. But I know her boyfriend after my daddy, Greg, he would hit on her and she would fight him back.
Did you want to be here today to testify?
Nope.
Did you get subpoenaed and that's why you came out here?
Yep.
Mr. Tellini was asking you questions about insanity or some kind of mental break. And you said initially that's what you thought, but then you said now, no. What did you mean?
I just feel like it's too much got done for you to be saying that now, for her to be saying that.
Well, do you think when she was telling you that there's softball equipment in the suitcase, she knew right from wrong, had the capacity to form the intent to do things?
Yep.
Meeting overruled.
Those are my questions, Jar. Thanks.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Mr. Lowry? Like we have one? Council, retrieve that question and approach, please. Mr. Lowry, do you remember where the green suitcase was retrieved from when you were getting the defendant's belongings at the house?
No,
I will allow reasonable follow-up as to that question only. Prosecution.
When was the first time you saw that green suitcase?
when we was moving to switching vans.
Did you ever see it come out of the house when you guys are moving things out of the house into the first van?
No, not that I can remember.
Thanks, Jeff.
Defense? All right, thank you, Mr. Lowry. You may step down. Just watch your step.
Okay, so. Oh. No, there's something back going. No, there's just something back going over here.
You want me to ask you something?
No, I'm talking to the, talking to the
I can't
chat.
ask you anything?
Okay, sorry guys, there was something back going. So that's the brother's testimony. Now, let's talk about some things that are really important. This suitcase that he doesn't, it took a freaking juror to ask the question, okay? If I was in that jury, they'd be like, we have 99 questions from the juror. You're going to have to stop. Number one, why did your aunt say you had to change vans? Number two, what happened to the other van? Did your aunt take it? Did your aunt use it? What happened to your aunt and your mom? Did they go on the plane with you? Did you all go back in the Ultima? No questions like that. He took the Ultima back to the airport. That means there was no Ultima with Tisha. She lied at the Candlewood Suites when she said she was driving a Nissan Ultima. She was lying. She was driving a cargo van. Okay? So he says the aunt paid for them to all go out there. They were going to support Tisha because they thought at the time she was being falsely accused. And when they got out there, they got them at that Marshall's right after that whole hullabaloo where Tisha's running away, throwing the keys. They have Harley handcuffed in the back seat. They pick them up, and then they go to the extended embassy suites. Embassy suites or extended embassy suites. How many rooms do you get? I don't remember. What did Tisha do? Tisha went away in the Ultima. And she was gone a long time. She said she was going to buy dog food. She was gone a long time. Did anybody call her while she was gone a long time? No. Did anybody, nobody really wanted to say, no. She came back, yeah, she had something. Was it dog food? I don't remember. Then they went to the house and they got the belongings. And he said the police were checking every bag as they were putting in. They thought they were criminals, right? So they load up this other van. And then the aunt says, wait a minute. You shouldn't have that van. You should go get your own van. Why'd she say that? Why'd she say that? Did she suspect something and didn't want a van in her name that maybe Tisha was going to carry a body in? And if that was the case, why did they have to move everything? Couldn't the aunt have just said, let's go to the rental car and I'll just give this in and say you want to rent it now in your name? But no. They changed vans. Okay? And then now we know that she had to have picked that suitcase up with the Ultima, because that's where she was for a long period of time. At some point, she put that suitcase from the Ultima into that van. And then at another point, when they were moving things from van to van, she got the suitcase from that van and put it in the other van. And that's when her brother said, do you need help with that? No, I've got it. What is in there? Softball stuff. Ice snow remover. Where did the aunt go? Where did the mother go? Did they drive that other van home? Nobody asked these questions. It's ridiculous. He brought the Ultima back to the airport. And that was, what was that? That was like on the, did he say? They said, did you bring that Ultima back to the airport when you went back to the airport? They didn't clarify why the aunt said you need to get your own van. Why did she say she was going to drop the van off in Grapevine, Texas? Oh, you don't know that yet. The van was supposed to be dropped off in Grapevine, Texas. Why? The other thing, you might not have seen it, but they have people with the GPS trackers that they put on the car. They put those GPS trackers on the car, and they tracked her to the bridge in Pace, Florida. Why did it take 6 weeks for Gannon's body to be found from the time she dumped it? Wouldn't they be following her? Like, if you have a tracker on her car, wouldn't you be like, okay, did anybody track Letecia's car? Yeah, it's right over here. It's going down to Pace, Florida. Oh, look, she's pulling over. She's pulling over on that Escambia Bridge. Oh, she stopped on that Escambia Bridge. Maybe we should have somebody. Wouldn't you have somebody tailing her? What's the point to put the GPS on her car? The guy comes on later in the day and blow by blow tells you where this van is, when it stops and when it's going and at what rate of speed it's traveling at. Why didn't they get her? How did she disappear with the Ultima for hours and nobody went over there and caught her in the act? Sunrisa said, I still think that was to get as far away as possible with as many drivers, a cleanings through it. It was all in the warrants. They have to have all the paperwork. They were telling one car. He comes on. But if he was tailing the car, why did it take 6 weeks to find Gannon? It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. They put the tracker on at the hotel. Yes. And then she took that Ultima and went to the Palmer Lake area. And they have it tracked. And then they have that van tracked all the way through Florida and South Carolina and then up to Rhode Island. And nobody asks. Those would be my jury questions. And what about the Ultima? What about that Ultima? They went and found that van. What about that Ultima? Did they check the trunk with luminol for the Ultima? Because they did it with the van. Good night, LMNW. I don't understand why they're not following up with these questions. We don't know how the van ended up in Rhode Island. We don't know how it ended up in Rhode Island. We don't know who drove it there. It's crazy. But she's not. I was thinking the rental got checked, but now I don't know. So yeah, the other really weird thing in this trial is the nurse. The nurse that Letecia sees at the hospital, the nurse that gives her the SA kit stuff. I thought that nurse was going to pass out. I don't know why she was so nervous. She looked like somebody that was on trial for murder. I don't know why she was that nervous. At one point I thought she was going to break down. Then I thought she was going to have her full-on panic attack. Then she had a moment of levity. Then it was the same thing again. That's what I mean. This is a weird trial where people are acting weird. It's weird. Ann Rose, this suitcase was discarded just a few days after they rented that van. I don't get it. And then in the house, they found blood like crazy in the house, all over the house, where the candle was. At the bottom of the stairs, on the stairs, in the rental van. They found blood all over the place. How is she cleaning up such a bloody crime scene and having everything dry by the time the police get there when she reports him missing? How could she have such a bloody, bloody crime scene and have it all cleaned up and dry? I don't know. Yeah, lots of spatter on the wall. How do you know she had a shot back? But that doesn't matter. You could suck it up with a shot back. It's still going to be damp for a while. But how do you know she had a shot back? Because then that would have blood all in it. Is that why she switched vans? She thought she was being followed? No. No, her aunt said that you need to get it. I think her aunt knew she had a body. I think her aunt didn't want any association with her. Let's look at the, hold on. Hold on, let me get the thing up here. Oh my goodness. All right.
Approximately 2 p.m. on February 25th. This is 6627 Mandan Drive from the exterior. This is the gate that leads to the backyard of 6627 Mandan. As you can see, the gate is locked from the exterior side of the fence. This is front entry into 6627 Mandan Drive. This would be from the front door. This is the upper level of the home. There are 2 bedrooms, a kitchen and living room area, and a sliding glass door to the backyard, and then the laundry room area, which exits into the garage for this residence. To the right is the first bedroom. This would be the room where Lena stays. So you enter the front hallway. You see that it opens up into the kitchen area of the residence. The kitchen does have a sliding glass door that exits to the backyard of the residence. We will exit that in a moment and show the other side of the gate from the backyard perspective. The living room area. Our main hallway. This enters into the master bedroom. Which has an attached bathroom and walk-in closet area. Moving back out towards the garage. The area in front of you is the laundry area. We'll move into the garage. Since we're in the garage, I will start with some points of interest. The 4 planks that you see on the ground are in the position they were during the first call when Gannon was reported to be missing. You can see that the tops of the boards have been sawed off. These were collected after a blood reagent called Blue Star was used on the ends of the 4 boards that had been cut, and there was a positive reaction. That positive reaction gives us a presumptive that blood was present on those boards. On the garage floor, in the area that we're looking at between the broom, the cord, and the empty space on the floor. There were some blue star reactions on the floor in this area. They were in the form of droplets. They were not very large. As we move from the concrete to the stairs, there was a blue star reaction on the stair showing a potential possible partial shoe impression. That, again, with it being blue star, that reaction tells us it's presumptive for blood. Moving up into the laundry area, the tile in the laundry room did have positive reaction to the blue star, again telling us the potential presence for blood. They were small hits in the laundry area. Basically, they were droplet size, not much larger than that. If we close the laundry room door to the garage, you can see that there is still blood on the door and on the door handle. This would be the door leading into the garage. We'll turn around in the laundry room. The last blue star hit of note was down at the baseline where the tile meets the carpet. It would be in your right-hand side of the frame where the doorway begins, and that frame for the doorway, there was a hit with the blue star agent right where the carpet meets the tile and meets the threshold for the doorway. That hit then led to us moving into the living room area. Again, this was the upstairs living and kitchen room area. You'll see the carpet area here. The carpet area in focus had a reaction to the blue star. The carpet appears ripped in this area. That rip is for checking the underside of that carpet to look for saturation, and there was none found. The stairs were then tested with the blue star reagent. There were positive hits on the stairs. They were small drop patterns, not much larger than a quarter for most of the stains. There was more of a reaction from the blue star, showing that there was heavy cleaning going on. The cleaning reacts with the blue star, but it does not provide an immediate reaction. It provides a slow illuminating reaction after some time, which indicated to us that there was some cleaning of the stairs and this landing area prior to heading down the stairs. There was luminol reaction on this landing. You can see that the carpet is not in its proper position. That carpet has also been pulled up underneath the carpet to check for saturation stains to the other side, and none were located. The baseboards around this landing did illuminate when the blue star was applied, showing that presumptive reaction for blood. Continuing down the stairs into the basement, blue star was used on the stairs going down. The blue star reacted to the stairs. Again, these were small hits, quarter size, and some significant cleaning. This patch of carpet into the basement, illuminated with blue star, showing that there was a lot of cleaning going on in this area. There was a very small single reaction to blue star at the base of the table. That again was about quarter size. As we hit the bottom of the stairs, this is the basement area of the residence. If you continue around to the right, you will see that there is a closet. It's a storage closet. We have a bedroom down here, all the way to the right. This would have been Harley's bedroom. We have another bathroom area. This bedroom has a closet attached to it. We have another storage closet. In the living room, we have the couch. The area removed from the couch was the area that candle wax was located. This was in the area for the Sunday night candle event where the candle was reported to be knocked over. When it was knocked over, it ignited a fire in the carpet. Portion of the carpet that was originally cut out was in this area here. You can still see some of the padding where the burn mark for where the padding melted. This would be the area that the candle landed. While doing a search, the area next to the candle, Blue Star was used. There was a positive hit, again being presumptive for blood. So a larger portion of the carpet was then cut out and retained so that that could be tested. Moving back in the basement, heading back to the stairs where you came down. Again, Blue Star reacted in this area, showing a large cleaning event. We had a single hit or by this furniture leg, about the size of a quarter. We come around to the hallway. We have a storage room. And then if you continue to the right, you have Gannon's bedroom. Before going into Gannon's bedroom, there was Blue Star used in the hallway. It reacted, showing a small trail, which led to the storage area. On the floor in the storage area, you can see that there are several locations that have been marked with Sharpie. Those are areas that were illuminated with Blue Star and showed a presumptive for blood. That blood was present. There is a trail that leads back into the storage room towards the sump pump located in the corner. The trail ending at that box. All these boxes were removed. Blue Star was used on the entire room. It was just this particular trail that has been marked and highlighted that was located. There were no other presumptive positives for blood in the storage room. Backing out of the storage room, moving into Gannon's room. The room is normally set up so that the blue and red table is generally sitting underneath the window. This bed would be set up, ready to go. The second bed in the room would occupy this voided location, the southwest corner of the room. If you continue around in the room, there is a closet in the northeast corner of the room. Of note in Gannon's room is the large stain in the southeast corner of the room. The markings that you see on the wall are marking spatter marks that were denoted by the Metro Crime Lab. Each of these stickers is indicating a blood spatter pattern that was denoted and documented. The carpet had a large stain that saturated through the carpet, through the padding, leaving this stain on the concrete. For marking purposes, a red Sharpie was used to outline the outskirts of the pattern, showing you how large the pattern actually is. Over here, you can see where the carpet and the padding, what they would look like if they were present. I will then reverse my steps, go back up to the living area. I will go out the sliding glass door and show you the reverse side of the side gate, showing you that it does not lock from the interior, that it locks from the exterior side. And that will conclude the video tour at that point. This would be the rear yard of 6627. This portion of the fence has recently been removed. It was not the original position of that fence during our initial walkthrough of the scene. This is the exterior of the side gate leading to the front of the residence. As you can see, the rear side of this fence or interior side of this fence is not secured. It is secured by the padlock on the front side of the gate. This will conclude the video tour of 6627 Mandan Drive by Sergeant Hubble. Current time is approximately 2:23 p.m.
Right, Sergeant Hubble, if you would resume your seat in the witness stand, I remind you, sir, that you're still under oath. Mr. Young?
Thank you, Judge. Sergeant Hubble, by the time you shot this video on February 25th, 2020, had Al Stauch moved out of the residence and had the sheriff's department basically held that residence?
That is correct, yes.
Do you know approximately when Mr. Stauch moved out of the residence?
I don't recall.
That's fine. Those are my questions, Your Honor. Thanks.
Cross-examination?
Thank you.
Hi, Sergeant. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm good. So what date was this video taken?
I believe that was I have to relook at my notes again. I'm sorry. Blanking here from my cold.
Oh, okay. What,
It was late in February.
okay. What was the date of the actual Blue Star application? At the Mandan
The
Drive address?
searches were several days prior to that.
Okay. And were you able to get any photographic evidence or video of the actual Blue Star illuminating or fluorescing under the dark lights?
I know one of the techs was having a hard time capturing their Blue Star hits. There were several different applications applied. So there were some that were captured and some that weren't. You'd have to speak with the crime scene techs to get a total on that.
Okay, but it looks like in your report, you were there at the house when the Blue Star was applied and that testing was being done, correct?
I was there, yes.
How many crime scene techs were there when the Blue Star was applied and, everybody was marking on the ground with Sharpies, like, here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit. Do you remember how many people were there?
For the instance where the Blue Star illuminated in the storage area, which is the one where the Sharpies were used, we had 2 crime scene techs there. we had to pull all those boxes out. So I believe there was myself and I think 2 to 3 other detectives, I don't recall specifically, that were present as well.
Okay. And I just want to clarify, in the storage room, you had some hits that was marked or memorialized by Sharpie marks on the concrete, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And it looks like there's a wall of boxes. And then looks like there's some small hits that go right up to this wall of boxes, correct?
yes.
Since you brought it up, and I just want to clarify, beyond the wall of boxes, there was a sump pump in the corner, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any markings or any hits near this sump pump?
There might have been some smaller hits closer, but it ended at the sump pump.
Okay. And were these hits, so beyond this wall of boxes, there were additional hits, is your
There
testimony?
may have been 1 or 2 hits, yes.
Okay,
The trail ends basically at the sump pump, so the boxes may have covered up 1 or 2 or 3 of the hits in that area.
okay.
There wouldn't be any more than that.
But you took all the boxes out to make sure any positive hits for blood through the Blue Star were not covered.
Yeah,
up,
the room was
correct?
empty when they blue starred, yes.
Okay. And there would have been a photograph of every hit or some kind of documentation of every hit?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the Blue Star actually testing for?
The blue star is giving us a presumptive for, to get really specific, you'd need to talk to the crime lab about that. But
Okay.
it gives us the building blocks of blood, which is protein and iron.
Okay. So it's not actually presumptive for blood, it's presumptive for the presence of iron.
Well, for the chemicals that make up blood or the elements that make up blood.
One
That's
of
why
the-
it's a presumptive.
The
It
main
tells us
one,
to test more.
one of the main elements of blood is iron, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if at any point there had been any swabs taken of some of the blood to test for DNA or blood match identification, anything like that?
On the presumptive hits?
Yes, or before the
Yeah,
Blue
the
Star
pres-
was done, was there like DNA swabs taken of any of these marks, any of these probable or likely blood spatter to
Yes,
to do
there
testing?
were swabs taken, yes.
Okay. Were you there at the house when the swabs were collected or taken?
Yes,
Okay. And presumably there was further testing done on those?
yes.
Okay. Did you actually collect the swabs or would that have been CSI technicians?
No, the CSI technicians would do that.
Okay. Just a moment, Your Honor.
All right. Redirect.
No, thank you.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Sergeant Hubble? Just write it down. Support. Council would retrieve that, approach the bench, please. Sergeant Hubble, sorry. Sergeant Hubble, a blue star reacts with blood to make it visible. Does blue star in any way compromise the subsequent analysis of the collected blood sample?
That would be a great question for the crime lab. I don't know how they rule out what portion was Blue Star. There, when we go from presumptive to actually a final analysis, a scientist would be able to explain it to you better. They have a very pinpoint specific chemical makeup that they're looking for. When they say something's positive for blood, they mean it's 100% positive after lab testing. So I don't know what their process is. So I couldn't answer if they test out the Blue Star or if the Blue Star doesn't affect it at all. I don't know the answer.
Okay. And that answer is helpful for the next question, which I'm not going to ask a lot of because I think it's more properly directed to other witnesses, but I will ask this question. Was the trash bin outside searched for evidence?
The night that the original search was done by my team, Sergeant Kurt Smith was there and present. And I believe
Okay, so yeah, a lot of blood. Some of that blood could be from other things, but lots of reactions. There is stairs in the garage that are too clean to have been the solid wood. They look like they maybe had carpet on them and carpet was ripped off. What else? The shop vac was there. She had a shop vac. They didn't mention that they tested the shop vac. At least not now. Okay. But then they have this nurse, talking all about Letecia's hands have some wounds on them, but she doesn't have she doesn't have big stab wounds. I'm surprised. Stabbing 18 times. She doesn't have a slice or anything in there. And then the van. Hold on, where's the van? Where's the guy with the van? Where's the van with the blood in it? Wasn't that today? See these? Aren't those bare wood now? Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't see she's so OCD. Her brother said that, okay? Her house is not OCD clean at all. Where's the guy with the van? This is the guy that's doing the tracking, and it's here, and her van is here, and her van is here. Okay, he's tracking it all over the freaking place. But they don't ask him anything. Okay, here's the van.
What is it? It's a door. We can go to 297 now? What do we see in 297?
This is the view from the slider door is open on the passenger side, and so the photograph shows the view of the rear, interior rear of the van. And then at the back of the photograph are the two doors, the two rear doors, which are closed.
And what kind of material is the bottom area of this cab area that we see here?
It's like a thick rubber.
298? What do we see in 298?
So we're inside of the van now, and this photograph is showing the rear doors, which are closed. So it's inside looking towards the back of the van.
Are there any windows in the cargo area of this van?
No.
We can go to 299 now. What do we see in 299?
This photograph was taken with the rear doors open, facing towards the front of the van, the separated divider between the cargo portion and the occupant portion.
Are those the doors you alluded to earlier that we see in the center of the picture?
Yes, that's that's how you can access the cargo part of the van from the passenger part.
And does those doors open from both sides, or do you know?
Not certain.
Okay. We can go to 300. What do we see in 300?
300 is an angle, the photograph is angled to show the majority of that floor section in the rear of the van.
301. What do we see in 301?
So 301 is from inside of the van, facing the cargo doors, which lead to the passenger side.
Can we zoom in on that handle to see what it looks like? So can you describe the handle to these cargo doors?
It's like a,
refresh your recollection.
it's like a little latch, so you can, it just opens.
Do you know whether or not there's a latch on the other side?
There is. Yeah, it's a handle on the other side.
All right. We go to 302 now. What do we see in People's Exhibit 302?
So 302 is a close-up of a like an animal toy that was underneath the front passenger seat.
And we see a placard there with the number 14. Can you tell the jury what that is?
So each time the evidence was taken from the vehicle, we took a number. So placard 14 represents this is evidence number 14.
We can go to 303 now. What do we see in 303?
We took the dog toy out from underneath the seat because you couldn't really see it well in the photograph. So this is the dog toy up next to the placard.
And did you collect that? Looks
Yeah.
like a dog bone or something, a rubber dog
Yeah,
bone.
it's like a rubber dog toy bone.
We can go to People's Exhibit 304. What do we see in 304?
304 is the inside of the glove box, which is right in front of the front passenger seat.
And did you collect a Verizon phone calling card from this glove box?
Yes.
Using People's Exhibit 304, there's a pointer up there somewhere. It's old school pointer. It's like a,
Red handle to your left.
yeah. Can you point out if we can see part of the Verizon calling card in this photograph?
The pointer.
Okay. You're not the first one. Thanks. We can go to 305. Now, what do we see in 305?
5 is the front side of that Verizon prepaid like phone card.
And again, this would be placard 16.
Yes.
And is that correlated in your report when you're discussing evidentiary items?
Yes.
Okay. If we can go to 306. What do we see in 306?
The 306 is the rear side of that Verizon phone card.
And does it have identifying information with regards to that phone card where someone may be able to go back and track that phone card to a particular phone?
Yes.
Did you do that?
I did not.
Were you asked to do that?
No.
Okay. Now, you mentioned applying some chemical to the back of the van. Why did you do that, and what was the chemical device used for?
So there were numerous stains that we noted throughout the interior of the van, and to include the rear of the van. And so in this particular one, we used two different chemicals. We used Hemastix and we used Blue Star.
Let's talk about Blue Star. What is Blue Star designed to do?
Blue Star is a presumptive test for blood. So it reacts, causes a reaction if there are blood, but it's a presumptive test, so it may not be blood, but it would react and it causes a color change.
And is that used in your prior field, for instance, to see whether or not areas of the van should be swabbed to look to see if it is actually blood?
Yes,
And is that one of the reasons why you might apply the Blue Star, is to perhaps you can't see certain items with the naked eye and this will help enhance that?
correct. Yes.
So what kind of chemicals is the Blue Star designed to pull?
So the Blue Star reacts with, it's the lead portion of the heme or part of the hemoglobin inside of blood, or iron. I'm sorry, iron, not lead.
And so when you apply that, what do you see if, for instance, there's something that may be blood?
It is a color change which goes to a bluish color.
And are you able to photograph that and capture that?
Yes.
Why don't we go to People's Exhibit 307 now? So what do we see in People's Exhibit 307?
We had cut a portion of the rear floor mat out subsequent to testing.
And why did you cut this portion out?
Areas of this portion we noted had a color reaction, so a positive reaction with when Blue Star was applied.
And so just for context, in People's Exhibit 307, what are we seeing here? What area of this rubber mat that you described earlier are we talking about in the cargo area?
So it would be the area directly behind where the driver is, extending to over halfway towards where the passenger would sit, and then towards the rear of the vehicle.
We can go to 308 now. What do we see in People's Exhibit 308?
So 308 is the cutout section, and you could it's discolored because that the darker portion is still wet from where we applied the Blue Star.
And you labeled that with placard 17?
Yes.
Now, did you or someone from your agency ship this to Colorado for further analysis?
Yes.
Why don't we go to People's Exhibit 309 now? What are we seeing in People's Exhibit 309?
309 is some of that color change that's noted when the Blue Star was applied to the mat in the rear of the cargo area.
And so is this the area that we just talked about that you cut out based on, I assume, this photograph?
Yes.
And is that what Blue Star would react to for presumptive or iron or blood?
Yes.
Did you also send the Verizon card and this rubber dog bone to Colorado as well?
Yes.
Have a moment, Your Honor.
Me?
Those are my questions. Thanks.
Cross-examination?
How you doing, sir?
Good, sir.
How's your trip?
It was fine, thank
It
you.
was fine. You get in last night or today?
I got in yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. So, do you know how?
No, we're not watching the whole trial, Dottie. We're just doing some highlights.
I'm not sure how it got to Rhode Island. I know it was seized, how it got to my agency.
Sure, but you don't know how it got from South Carolina to Rhode Island?
I do not.
Do you know how many people had rented that van in between when it was dropped off in South Carolina and when between you looked at it?
No.
And you guys are you guys are assisting some other agencies in this investigation.
Yes.
I mean, there was nothing to indicate that any of this crime took place in the state of Rhode Island.
That's correct.
And you basically got a call from the FBI asking if you guys could help out.
That's correct.
And one thing, because it was in Rhode Island, then you guys had to do a search warrant to a Rhode Island judge.
Yes,
Did you assist in doing that search warrant, or was that done by somebody else?
that was done by someone else.
Okay, did you review that search warrant?
No,
Okay. And then as whether or not there was blood or whatever in that van and whose blood that might have been, that wasn't something for you to figure out. That was then, let me rephrase it. That was a bad question. To see if that was blood or whose blood that might have been and what you did, you ship that off to Colorado and let them, so they can run whatever test to make that determination.
that's correct.
You right now have no idea if that actually was blood or whose blood that might have been.
That's correct.
No further questions.
Redirect.
Oh, thank you.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Mr. Gressel? All right, thank you, sir. You may step down. Watch your step.
Okay, so what the defense is doing there, they're trying to say, you don't know how many people were in this van, you don't know if it's her blood, but if they do the DNA and they get the DNA, that's it. So the house, this, and that, and let's see what's coming up for tomorrow, because I think her interviews, let's just see what's coming up for tomorrow.
Anywhere close to that in your interactions with her?
No.
Saying that they cannot give an opinion based on a DSM-4 diagnosis, but there's a difference between a DSM-4 diagnosis and what
High pudding.
a layperson may be perceiving, but that doesn't discount the layperson's opinion about a defendant's mental state when they are observing the defendant and what those facts are based on. So you made your record and I made my ruling, and move on. Go ahead. Okay. Okay. And if maybe I could work on a
Yes, pudding, I realized that was way after. I realize that.
But it seems to me, I mean, I've already told the jury, I think the issue here is that we already know what it is between the psychiatrists, right? I mean, the law has a legal definition of what sanity is, and psychology and psychiatrists have a psychological definition of what insanity is, and those aren't necessarily the same thing. It's this, and as I see this, it's the same with a layperson that may have an opinion about whether someone is insane or is not insane. That's not necessarily the same thing as the legal definition, nor is it the same thing as the psychological definition under a DSM-4.
And I understand what the court is saying, just to make the record. I think there was a difference between when I testified or when even Dakota Stauch testified, who have an ongoing long-term relationship with her, versus these witnesses who have, 30, 40, 50 action with her, then making the, I don't think under Medina, that Medina, I think it's clear, they do not have the foundation to be able to say sane or insane. I think they can comment on what they've observed, but as far as making an overall opinion, they're sane or insane, I think Medina is saying they do not have the foundation.
Okay. All right. And what does tomorrow look like?
We'll start out tomorrow morning with a witness that's going to probably take the balance of the morning. It'll be former Detective Jess Bethel, and then get into some crime scene stuff with an expert in the afternoon.
Okay. The impression that I get, I'm not trying to jinx anything.
Well,
but
I think I jinxed us by saying what I said earlier.
Well, I noticed that. But the impression that I get is that things are going perhaps faster than what you had anticipated. And you are making it through witnesses quickly. I understand that all of that may change once we get to the psychologists and those sorts of things. But are we about where you thought you would be? Ahead, behind?
I think it's pretty clear that we are ahead of schedule. But as you noted, we will start to hit slower witnesses.
Right.
We still have some pretext phone calls that we are going to be playing with a couple of different witnesses. We have the defendant's interview, for instance. Initial interview is tomorrow. That's about almost 5 hours of interview. We have another one with
Are
a,
you going to play the whole thing?
yes.
Find a reasonable breaking point for that. It sounds like probably we'll need to take a lunch break somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Just find a reasonable breaking point.
Yep. So I think you're right, Judge, that we are going to hit a point where we're probably going to hear from less witnesses throughout a
Right.
particular day. But I do think we're ahead of where we thought we would be.
Okay. The other thing that probably you need to be mindful of, especially since it came up with Mr. Young playing the video, when we get done with all of this, we need a clean laptop that works for everything.
Yep.
So just be mindful of that.
Yep.
Okay. Anything from the defense? Okay. All right. Court will be in recess then.
Ahead of where
Breaking point for
we with a,
we abused than what you had anticipated. And you are making it through witnesses quickly. I understand that all of that may change once we get to the psychologists and those sorts of things. But are we about where you thought you would be? Ahead, behind?
I think it's pretty clear that we are ahead of schedule.
Okay.
But as you noted, we will start to hit slower witnesses.
Right.
We still have some pretext phone calls that we are going to be playing with a couple of different witnesses. We have the defendant's interview, for instance. Initial interview is tomorrow. That's about 4, almost 5 hours of interview. We have another one with a.
Are you going to play the whole thing?
Yes.
Find a reasonable breaking point for that. It sounds like probably we'll need to take a lunch break somewhere in there. Just find a reasonable breaking point.
Yep. So I think you're right, Judge, that we are going to hit a point where we're probably going to hear from less witnesses throughout a
Right.
particular day. But I do think we're ahead of where we thought we would be.
Okay. The other thing that probably you need to be mindful of, especially since it came up with Mr. Young playing the video.
Okay, I think it's funny how you guys are going back and forth with the OCD. Okay. The person that said OCD was her half-brother. And I'm going to go out on a limb here to say that Letecia was 14 years older than him. He was probably a messy little boy. She was probably talking about cleaning this or cleaning that. And so to this kid who's 27 years old, he may say she was OCD about cleaning because that's how it appeared. But that doesn't mean she was meticulous. It doesn't mean she was even tidy. I know a lot of people who are described as OCD about cleaning, but it's about certain things. And even outwardly, they can be that way some places, and their houses are not a reflection of that. So I don't think anybody needs to worry about it. But anyway, he didn't make he is not able to make a diagnosis. So, yeah, wouldn't worry about it. But anyway, tomorrow it's going to be that interview. So, yeah. Tomorrow will be the interview. And they're going to have Detective Bethel. And she no longer works with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Well, we do, we can't make that diagnosis here with her anyway, and it really doesn't really even matter. Right now, it doesn't matter. But her brother said it in a sense that people say it, who's OCD. And it could be to a person that is extremely messy, that somebody even with wanting things moderately clean, could seem like they have OCD because it's all has to be taken in context. No, we showed a photo just so the wax, but there wasn't any fire really. That was all. Yes. I wonder if she is medicated. She's so dang cold. I don't know. Anyway, what was I going to say? I have so many questions on why they're telling everywhere that van stopped, but nobody found Gannon until a highway worker found him and they had tracking on her vehicle. How? How does that happen? How do you have tracking on a vehicle, knowing where she stops? Oh, the van is standing still in Buena Vista. It's standing still. Oh, look. It's going 60 kilometers. Oh, and now, yeah. Oh, look. Here it is. It's over here. How? And nobody asks. It's infuriating to me. They just don't go over it. Yeah, I don't know. It makes me think that nobody was checking that tracking. That's what it makes me think. It makes me think no one checked that tracking until after he was found. Like somebody dropped the ball on it or something. I don't know. It doesn't seem normal or right or anything. Yes, it was a rental vehicle, Nikki. It's the rental van. But they also had it on the Ultima when she took that trip out to Palmer Lake. That really is so crazy. What in the world were they doing? I don't know. It's really, oh my gosh, it just drives me nuts. And the jury has the ability to ask questions. No, they don't have these. This is a different thing. This is something that's put on the bottom of the car. Anyway, it's just that's what it makes it seem like. Let's see. So today we were looking back on some last night we were looking back on a lot of old stuff, and like in the beginning of the see what else we have. So we were let's see. Okay, let's look at this now. These are old posts that were up around the time. So in Gannon groups. Some facts. Yes, there are 2 news teams set up in front of the home. They just packed up. I spoke with a reporter and asked what was going on, and he told me that there were 2 sheriffs at the house, and sometimes they have them there when they're going to make an arrest, so they wanted to get footage of it. He told me the only thing that happened was Domino's was delivered. Someone left from the house on their own accord in their own vehicle, and then the cops left. And some said, many guys from my husband's unit was out all night and even today. They just came in the office and was telling him that his body was found in a duffel bag in the landfill. Only rumor that the stepmom has been taken into custody. That part is a rumor, though. Oh, wow, this is all so sad. For those trying to make a timeline, I'll make this post as a fact. Speculate as you wish. Stepmom and sisters were on camera shopping and purchasing items in a store on Monday around 1:45 to 2 p.m. Gannon was not seen at all in the video, but they did not have outside cameras to verify if he was within the vicinity. Possible other stores might have footage, but I cannot verify. Police were given the recording. Body was found in a suitcase in this area. There is suspicion it may be him. Source for the info. I hope he is found safe. Answering a question I just seen that was asked. The biological mother don't have custody of her kids. Tisha and Al has full custody for years. Tisha has took care of the kids. Biological mom lost custody due to abuse and drugs. Because you're someone who might be able to provide some proof and get people to shut up with all the conspiracy, or are you trying to do damage control for your friend? I think she is her sister. She is. Sister again. This is beyond crazy. I get kicked out of a group for defending my sister. They all can have their own opinions, spectate, and have conspiracy theories, but I'm not allowed to speak on anything. Or entitled to, because I'm related? Yeah, that's bull. She was Landon's best friend. This is in case you guys missed this. Letecia and Landon. Landon is Gannon's mother. Were best friends. They played on the softball team together. It was a co-ed softball team with Al, Landon's husband, and Letecia and Al hooked up. She says, there you go. Know some facts. Everything out of stepmom's mouth is a lie. Landon is my sister-in-law and would do anything for those kids. If you only knew the story. T, the stepmom, was Landon's best friend? Yes. And had an affair with her husband, Albert. Landon still loved Tisha even after doing her dirty. Lots of interesting comments on this page. Great job getting her to talk on camera. We've confirmed she and her daughter did stop at Marshall's at Woodman and Academy, and detectives took possession of the white Volkswagen Jetta they were driving on Thursday, January 30th, about 1:45, 3.5 hours before the news conference. The car was then towed to evidence impound. The sheriff's department didn't mention that at all, but the stepmom did talk about it in the interview. The stepmom and I are related to the same people. I reached out to North Carolina family and learned that they have been told a totally different story from what we have seen. What? Can you elaborate? Wow, by her, the stepmom? Hint, that's why she really requested a lawyer. I want to make a comment the Gannon Stauch situation, but prefer not to have my profile info there. Interesting facts. About 6-7 years ago, Landon and Al were playing co-ed softball on a team with me and Tisha. We're on the team. Tisha set her eyes on Al from the get-go. She got him interested in her, and he cheated on Landon with Tisha. It shocked me. Al and Landon are loving, great parents, and I've never trusted or liked Tisha. She is vengeful and starts fights, conceited, arrogant. Let me see here. T. Stauch. Caught a boy at 327, a higher blue hoodie, and I don't know if this is helpful. Thank you. Now I'm questioning myself if he left with black pants instead of blue jeans, because that is the same hoodie. Let's see. I just heard someone who works at a rental car place say the stepmom rented a car Monday morning and returned it back Monday night. Police swabbed it for DNA and it came back and took it for evidence. I knew this information, and it's taken everything in my power not to say anything. This is Landon, the mother, explaining to Alyssa Adams, I was in the hospital having my youngest. I am extremely high risk and was hospitalized from March to September. Came home after Hurricane Florence. During that time, it was best for Lena and G to go with their dad. We switched times. We have shared custody with dad being primary residents. You don't have to explain yourself, but I'm very sorry for what you've had to endure, and my prayers are with you and your precious son. It's a nightmare, and I need my baby, and I hope and pray something will come out and reveal my baby. Thank you all. Diana Price says, T did something to that little boy. She then knew she had to get him out of the house. Her text to Al about the little fire was her way of smoothing what she did. Baby boy is out there, most likely less than 20 minutes away, hidden. The monster has shown her narcissism over and over. She knows exactly where Gannon is. T says, you're an idiot. They have footage of the other side of the vehicle. Believe what you want because of a neighbor who is paid to release one half. T. Stauch, okay, I did think of him getting out on the other side of the truck. It's very possible. Reports say you told police you took him to the doctor. Do you have proof of that? There's so much that doesn't sound good for you. I honestly want to believe you're innocent. I want to thank my family and friends in the Carolinas who know my character and my dedication to our family. I have sleepless nights every day wondering what could have happened differently. Don't let the media fool you with videos and false information. I have cooperated with everyone and given them all they ask for. Sometimes they let social media, Him said he's talking about a friend that brother has a car and doing a sleepover. Same kid that asked about bath salts. Absolutely not. I haven't let him do a sleepover and he will not sleep over. We don't even have bath salts. Is it like the ones for the tub? He said something about a friend. Bath salts are dangerous. She has him down as Albert boyfriend. He said something about a friend. Bath salts are dangerous. He asked me yesterday, were they the same as salts? I told Harley and she was like, Mom, the bad ones. And I just told him no, bath bombs weren't the same. I'll ask him why he asked you. And Al says, and the kids need to stay off Tok. Okay, is that bad? And he said, don't worry about it. He was just asking to see what they were. He is talking about a friend. Albert boyfriend, I want to address the issue of Lena's alleged comments. First of all, Tisha is owed an apology for the heinous accusations made against her. If for 1 minute I thought my children were in harm's way in any way, shape, or form, I would immediately handle the situation. Both her track record with them and Gannon's confirmation of the same is proof of that. So I expect her to receive a full and true apology. Human remains found in Florida tentatively identified as Gannon Stauch. There is a gag order in effect for this case, so we cannot go into any details. Here's the guy she did the interview with. Says, things are about to get started. I'll thread them here. Al Stauch is one of 5 people sitting in the stands, myself included. Letecia is actually appearing in court today in handcuffs and very long hair. The 4th Judicial DA is seated, just got there. Just looks like the defense attorneys are appearing online. Okay, let's see. It's official. Letecia Stauch intends to represent herself via her attorney. Defense attorneys say they want an explanation. She would need to close the hearing to the public. Judge is mulling it over. Judge is now explaining the difference between wanting a different attorney instead of just trying to represent herself. Letecia Stauch has been answering with short, yes, sir. Uh-oh, someone was screen sharing the online stream and just got called out for it. That's a big no-no. I'm still here. I'm just looking at something real quick. And I'm going to go to bed. I am exhausted. Got so much going on this week. I've got a big appointment Thursday. Please say some prayers that everything is going to be okay. It's a doctor's appointment and there's something going on. So just would appreciate prayers and good thoughts. Thank you. All right, let's see. Okay, let me see what you're saying. Okay. Thanks. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, we've got to be up at 10 and ready to rumble, right? At 10:45. Tomorrow's Wednesday, and then I have an appointment later, so I'm going to be going. So I'm going to go to sign off right now. And we'll... let me see. We'll see you guys tomorrow. If anybody is on Reddit, is anybody on Reddit? I don't know. There's so many people saying like so many things about the people that are live streaming the trials, putting all these recommendations, some for horrible channels. But all right, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't know why it's doing it twice. It's so weird. All right, love you guys. God bless. Prayers for all that need them. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll call it a night. See you tomorrow. God bless. And